that
See,
it?
but in, you know, in an actual set, we'd have some poor, like, barely paid or unpaid intern that would be yelling at to get my shit. We'll do it live! And they're like,
why are we playing this happy music for this somber story?
that guy, jeez.
Yeah,
Oh my god, everybody's insane.
man, oh man. Well, Todd, you let us know when the good old recording starts, and we'll.
We are started.
Wait.
Hey.
What? What?
We've been going for about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I just didn't tell you guys.
No.
We totally have.
You snuck that in. So anyway, as I was saying,
bonus round stuff, right?
yeah, Bruce Willis goes back to his apartment because he left his gold watch, his father's gold watch. His pregnant girlfriend, didn't grab it, so he has to go back to the apartment. Sneaks in, and he thinks he's good because there's nobody in the apartment. Marcel's guys aren't anywhere nearby, and he starts like eating some cereal, and he thinks he's good, and then he hears the toilet flush. And who comes out? It's friggin' John Travolta, right? But he also notices that Travolta has left his MAC-10 Uzi machine gun thing on the counter, and so he just, and that's the end of John Travolta. Yeah. So,
always, well, the lesson I take from that is always bring your weapon to the toilet.
To the toilet. It's, you know, if you're going to carry a weapon, take it to the toilet. And don't let your friend wander the earth, because if he had the backup, you know, if Jules hadn't taken off to roam the earth, right? But I don't blame Jules. I mean,
no, Jules had a epiphany.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna wander.
Because he felt like he witnessed a miracle.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Well, hey guys, how's it going?
Good to see you.
It's good to see you guys as well. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Is there a red light flashing on there?
I don't know.
I don't see anything flashing on the camera.
We might have to go back and start all that nonsense. Oh my god, do you see it now?
Somewhere. I'm sure there is. I don't know
well,
where.
I guess it's just audio bonus content. It's like a 2D film, and now we're in
all we need
3D.
to do is have Charles take, you know, a snapshot of us three sitting at the table using like a timer or whatever on his camera, and then he just uses some still shots and put the audio in that.
All of us going nuts on each other. Yeah, whatever, dudes. It is Our Town Podcast.
Indeed. Extraordinary.
Coming to you from the Renton Civic Theater in historic and beautiful downtown Renton.
I'll drink to that.
Check us out on r-townpodcast.com. Check out the rentoncivictheater.org for upcoming shows. I saw something interesting on the marquee outside. It said Pillow Party, and then I was like, God damn, I'm in. Right? And then I read the line under it was Pillow Party Massacre. And I was like, what the heck is a Pillow Party Massacre?
Yeah, it might still be fun. It was a film. Well, it is.
Just different.
Yes, there was a put on here because it's for a special effects company.
Oh, that's the one that we were talking about. Okay, special effects company is going to come in and show this movie that they made, maybe about their products and what they do.
Yeah,
and all that
demonstrations there.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Come down and check that out.
Because we're going to use a bunch of squibs from them, a bunch of the explosive
blood. The things that make it look like you've been shot. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Nice. So we got a bunch of those coming up, and then in this, maybe it's the next production. There's a gun, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So stage gun with stage stuff. So
I always thought it was like a firecracker and a condom, but is that not how they?
I don't know how they do it. I really don't. That's right. But
kind of what it is, but it's not as explosive as a firecracker.
Okay, one of those mini crackers.
Like a
little lady.
Well, I mean that's how they presented it in like the 18 when they were making like squibs and stuff.
Yeah.
That was the best like 83, 84. So I'm sure it's different now than it was back then.
Well, I'm still living in 83, 84. So
that's all the technology we ever needed. I don't know the process.
Yeah. Well, we welcome back Mike from his journey to California back.
Yes. Whirlwind tour.
Yeah, whirlwind tour down to Orange County.
Yeah, Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa.
Which I didn't really get a chance to
enjoy.
Do anything.
Yeah. I think they have a mall there. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was like that. We
did
like an old
for
like 3 hours in the Buffalo Wild Wings parking lot.
Nice, nice. But everything went well down there?
It really did, yeah.
Nice.
It was some really neat books. It was a comic book show, mostly dealers, right? So it was just a lot of other...
So it was like if a convention was just a dealer room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. There were some civilians because people didn't come in and buy. But,
Yeah.
But I mean, the vast majority of sales, at least from us and
From other people who were going to resell it in their shops or whatever.
yeah, stuff like that. So,
Online
and there weren't
stores
panels and there weren't
mortar.
stuff like that. There was one artist room, right? But they were kind of selling their stuff.
Okay. So it wasn't like guest panels and stuff like that. It was just
Okay. So,
yeah, cool.
I saw Cap America 1. Dude had it locked up. Yeah.
Whoa,
What was
really?
what was the
Briefcase.
grade on it?
Oh, geez, I don't remember. It was low. It was like I want to say 2.5. So.
Yeah.
Really? So how much was that 2.5?
$250,000, $250,000.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. Bonkers. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, you need a bodyguard.
Yeah.
I'm from a place called Renton.
That's where we know how to body hand guard.
Yeah, we need a bodyguard, bro, because this is the planet Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Did he take it out in like a handcuffed?
No, he had a briefcase, but that was it. It's like, that's simply not enough, my friend. But I had some really cool stuff. So, and you know, I don't really collect expensive books, so that wasn't really my demographic. But I looked for some Mad Magazine stuff, and I did see, you know, the Che Guevara T-shirts. We've all seen them, but it was Alfred E. Newman.
No.
As Che Guevara. So I laughed because that's funny. Yeah.
That's
I laughed.
awesome.
Nice. Hey, speaking of T-shirts, Mike wore a T-shirt last week, and he put out a challenge. Did anybody?
I haven't gone back to look. Yeah. So
what was the? Why don't you explain?
yeah, because Ball Bag Renton. I've got friends in that band.
It's a
and
band.
It's a
And
band.
here I thought you were like, you know, trying to expose your ball bag here in Renton.
Yeah.
Well, he does that. But
That's different. But also, I have told Ball Bag that I consider them the Mad Magazine of rock and roll.
Nice.
Because they're just kind of that smart, you know, obviously smart, but tongue-in-cheek and poking every single bear. They have no sacred cows.
Nice.
So they're fun. And
would we know anybody in the band?
well, it's Dickie Rossetti, who was a DJ at 107.7
Oh.
many years ago. The last DJ, I
Nice.
believe. Yeah, when they were going to shut that station down, he locked the door. He
Oh.
refused to leave, yeah. He's kind of a hero, actually, in that sense. Yeah, and
Wait,
And
what station did
I
that?
thought it was KNDD. Or is that still around?
The-
So maybe
the end?
KDD is. Are you thinking KMTT, the mountain?
I don't know. I should
Because
check
that's
in on that.
107.7 was the end.
Yeah.
I
The
think
end
it
of the
still
dial.
is, as far as I know.
It's still the end, I think. I don't know. It's
Unless
still called
they
the end.
sold or some kind of thing.
Yeah, I
can't
think they all
remember.
sold to Intercom or.
yeah.
And now it's radio.com that has them.
Yeah.
I think.
That's
I think that's who KSW goes through now too, is radio.com.
Sure.
I actually did some work in the KISW, KNDD.
Studio.
What is the Fox or the Wolf, the country
yeah.
station?
Oh, yeah, the
they're
one that
all
used-
together.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
got to go through the studios and check out where the DJs work, and I was just fascinated.
That was
Because it was very cool.
Oh, it's neat. Yeah, I mean, it's not this, but
No, I mean,
but what is? Yeah.
I mean, the Spire kids, you know. But,
before it was the Wolf, it was the talk radio station that they had. That's where BJ
Yeah, it was
Shea
Lionel.
started.
Yeah.
Oh, the Buzz?
The Buzz. That was the Buzz. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a late night janitor for years, so I listened.
Oh,
to
were you
that.
really?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
doing that and then listen
So
to
listen.
I used to love listening
Line
to
yeah.
listen to BJ Shea in the morning on the Buzz, and then
back when you had Toppy with him.
the men's room. Toppy's no longer with them. I haven't listened to
been
no.
gone forever.
I know Double R left like a decade ago.
Double R's been gone forever.
Wow.
It's BJ and his kids now.
Oh,
And Meg, Steve,
Oh,
the
and then-
producer,
and
who's
then,
on KNDD for
yeah, he's a pro wrestler.
Mr.
now.
He's a pro wrestler.
Yeah, no, it's
Is
great.
Mr. Robinson still with the group?
Nope. It's
And Fuego left?
Fuego's gone. He got fired or laid off or something probably 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
Oh.
something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
So maybe right before Christmas sometime.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Should do a podcast anyways.
Oh, he does. He's
Oh.
got a couple of them.
I'm sure he does, yeah.
Grit City Podcast, if anybody knows.
Oh, that was Justin's?
That's, oh, I'm sorry, that's the reference.
Yeah, Justin.
Oh, I don't.
Justin
I just
Robinson.
call him Fuego, but-
Yeah. I used to know Justin.
Oh, good. Good. He's an interesting character.
Whoa.
That was cool.
It was like a little thumpy bass thing going
Just-
on.
Yeah.
Just scratched the fuck out of my knuckle, but yeah.
So, respond to Mike's challenge if you know some of some of their songs.
Yeah. Name your favorite ball
Name
bag
your-
song. Come on, people. This
Come
is softball. So you can get one of our cool stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least a sticker. I didn't actually say you'd get a Our Town podcast sticker.
Could be like a Mr. Yuck sticker.
You know, he probably has a collection of scratch and sniff from back in the day.
No, I wish. No, I would have stuck all the stickers. I was terrible about that.
Well, Mike, what you need to do then is you need to start promoting the podcast with all the people that do know that band.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's a cross pollination.
That's right.
And my buddy Mitch Shepardson just recently joined that band as their drummer. So,
Okay.
Nice.
yeah, filmographer, Mitch.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Right on. All right. And speaking of stickers, if you want to go to r-townpodcast.com or rtownpod.com.
Yeah, that
was .store.
Yeah.
We'll take you. I'll get these down someday.
.star will take you to the shop, and then .com will take you directly to Spotify.
Yeah. And then buy some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, or subscribe. I say
subscribe.
and or, but I really just mean and.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean,
It doesn't have to be a lot. Just show us.
Yeah.
Show us
And
that you care.
in the membership, I mean, we've got some nice blogs that we've popped up. Mike's got some Mike's rants coming up here pretty soon.
Sweet.
Should be up there within the next few days.
All right.
And we'll have some bonus content. We got bonus content from the last few episodes, and
Sweet.
we'll have bonus content from tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, our top 5.
So do the blogs have like a
Oh,
comment section for people to
Jeez, I
like
hope not.
respond?
Well, I think you can respond.
This is not a democracy, people.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
Just
Wait.
taking it and ramming it down your throat.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's not about you, but wait, that's a different show.
Yeah, TM. If we get sued by Not About You, that would be kind of
That would be kind of fun.
Jamal,
Now we're called Todd as a witness for both parties. I don't know if he's going to go crazy.
be like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Jamal's so mad.
Yeah, I'm going to be like Perry Mason up there. Catch him in a lie. I don't know, man. I don't remember what show it was. All right, you guys want to talk some headlines? Because there's a lot going on this past week.
Oh, yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
What was your guys' favorite story?
I didn't really look into it, but I saw lots of memes about it. The high altitude weather balloon.
Yes, the Chinese spy balloon.
Air quotes weather balloon.
Yeah, and that story's been growing. Not only are people up in arms that Biden didn't shoot it down earlier, he waited until it got out to the coast, which ended up going from Montana across Iowa and ended up in the Carolinas. I think South Carolina.
Do we have anything that's of any national security in those?
Well,
those
I'm
states?
sure there's military installations and nuclear weapon sites that they could have done, and I think that whatever it is they've got, I would imagine that there's some kind of satellite connection.
I would think. I don't know the capabilities.
Yeah.
So, but we do now, right?
Yeah,
So
hopefully.
that's something. And I think overall, it was just kind of a reverse PR stunt for the Chinese.
Yeah.
Because no matter if we flex on it, then they look like an equal.
Right.
Right? So it's like no matter what they gain status by us sweating it, if we would have just not made a story about it.
But
right?
didn't it come out that like not one but 3 other balloons flew over the United States?
Yeah, so they're actually
during-
saying now that there was about 4 balloons.
Was it
One
4?
earlier during Biden's first year, I think, might have breached Hawaii. And then there was 3 that ended up during Donald Trump's administration.
Sure.
And he's denied it as I never heard about this, so it can't be real. But I think the incursions were shorter. I think,
It did
floated
float
into
across
Texas
Canada
and
or
floated
whatever.
right back out
Sure.
or something. It didn't cruise across. So that's why I got so much, news and all that stuff was following it. But, I mean, what are you going to do?
I don't know. And I don't know, obviously, what the capability of the government of Chinese satellites are, right? Do they have super spy satellites? I'd be surprised if they didn't, right?
I'm sure
And that
they-
we're not really worried about incursions into airspace. But this is a low-tech spy solution, right? It's like and they have shown us that they are very willing to hack, steal, et cetera, to gain traction, right?
Yeah.
Just like governments do, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend that all governments don't cajole shit to get their way, right? But we do need to keep, we have allowed, non-democratic forces to gain a foothold worldwide and to push back against democracies, and that's not healthy.
Yeah.
And we got sold out by the pseudo-free traders, right?
Yeah, I was going to say our corporations
Right.
have made the brilliant decision to send all of our
Yeah.
tech manufacturing
Yeah.
to China, which also includes all of our plans and
Yeah, which means they just steal any kind of, tech that they like, right? And I'm, how can we blame them? We never should allow that to happen, right? And that gutted our middle class,
yeah,
right?
Oh, yeah.
It changed the, demographics of the country and how marriages work and blah, 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 blah. Not that factory life is necessarily the goal.
Yeah.
But at least
to
it
make an
lends a
extra
certain
buck or two,
stability.
really, right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that why all the manufacturing went to other countries? Is because their labor's cheaper?
Yeah, and they don't have environmental rules, right? There's virtually no regulation, and that includes labor.
One of my best jobs I lost out because the company decided to outsource to, like, I think it was the Philippines or India. So I did tech support for Earthlink back in the early 2000s. And I was, I was the guy you talked to when you couldn't get your modem to connect, or your email or whatever. Whatever.
That wasn't Utah.
Yeah, but it is a thing. I mean, I don't know. Governments spy, governments lie.
Well,
but I don't like it.
Does it, right?
Yeah, but I don't want it done against us. So, but I just don't know if we have secrets lying out in the open that a fucking balloon is gonna find.
Yeah.
We need to work on our side of security as well.
Yeah.
It's like I get shooting it down, relatively as soon as possible, right? But it's fucking angering. I mean, if you're spying on us, of course we're gonna shoot your shit down.
Right.
That's like saying that you pulled the bug out of your embassy and they're mad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
It's like,
we're
well,
listening to that.
Yeah. Yeah. But that being said, it's like, I mean, even back in the Second World War in Renton, because we were a major producer of, planes and all sorts of tanks and all sorts of shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so we had giant camouflage blankies that we would cover the factories with to
make it look like just another neighborhood.
Yeah,
and
that
I've
was
seen
80
photos
years ago.
I remember that. I've seen
Like,
photos
are
of
we
that.
still susceptible to weather balloon? Yeah, I don't know. It's a little
I think with the advent of 4K and HD and was it HD something or other, HDV or whatever, the high definition, but or super high definition. They have cameras that they can zoom in and see that it's not a real city or a real town. If we were to do something like that again. But,
and then, on every cool spy movie, they like beep, beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. Go and see the fly on my nose from space and shit. It's like, so now I'm just like, maybe that's not so.
Image.
Enhance.
And none of that works.
Yeah, evidently not.
Can
Right?
you enhance on that guy's forehead,
Man.
Yeah, like back in, what was that, 98 when Will Smith did that spy movie where he was running from the CIA. Enemy of the State, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, bring the spy cat. And he's like, oh, there's this, he's wearing a blue tie.
Yeah.
No, you cannot.
Evidently not, man. Or Osama bin Laden was all like, I'm in Bora Bora.
Now that there's
Like, for math, they didn't find that dude for math.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
now that everything's networked and there's security cameras every fucking where, they can look in that shit now.
Sure, but I, at
assuming
least the security cameras in my apartment are
assuming
awful.
the cameras are not.
I know. It looks like
Jimmy Durante is up in him. It's like, who's the guy with the nose? I can't tell. Humanoid, I think.
This is why you change your default password to your web-enabled devices, man. Because then you can't just act. Someone could just Google password for such and such, device and find the default password and log right into it.
Jeez,
I'm giving away all the secrets here on our
podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
crime skyrocket. They're like, Todd!
It's all my fault. Yeah.
Crime is off the charts.
Well, he said
the mayor just set up a new investigative team.
Well, let's ride that controversy to the top. Yeah. Just try to stop us, man.
Hey, they always say that, no, any publicity is a good publicity.
Yeah.
Big Trouble, Little Renton, is that what your little thing says?
Big Trouble in Little Renton.
Yeah,
it's kind of playing off the Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. But it's just, it's a cool photo. I'm not ragging on it or anything, but you have us looking like, Charlie's Angels and shit. I think we should actually pose for an actual Charlie's Angels kind of pose, and not just our random
I do what I can with what I got. Yeah.
It's well appreciated. It really is.
No, it totally is, man.
No, I mean, I'd still be in the Stone Age with it, so it's pretty amazing, actually. No, when we were driving to California, 19 and a half hours to Costa Mesa, I'm like, dude, if I was driving, we would just be passing Portland. Right now, like 12 hours in, it's like, bing, bing.
Mike is going like 0.5 over the speed limit.
Oh, no,
I think
don't even, I'm free under
all the
time. Well, that's worth the stop.
It is worth the stop.
Yeah. And we did In-N-Out Burger, because I've never had In-N-Out.
Yeah, I've never had In-N-Out either. And every time I've ever...
This is better.
Really? That's good to hear.
Oh, yeah. No,
you hear that, Chris? You hear that? Dick's is better than In-N-Out.
Oh, without a doubt. I'll go to the grave for that one. So. Oh, yeah, you're no longer beefing it, though.
No, I don't eat beef since 1996, actually.
Jeez, nice.
I mean, I've been to New Orleans and tasted ossobuco, which is fine.
Can you say that on the air?
Yes, I can. I just did.
The fuck did he just say?
I've tried, oxtail and stuff like that. I mean, I'll take a little bite of pepperoni, of course.
Yeah.
Wait,
but is that meat? Nobody knows.
Is there actual meat on an oxtail?
Yeah, there is actually. It's pretty good.
Oxtail is literally an oxtail, right? Yeah.
I mean, I guess there would have to be some meat on it, but
it's mostly cartilage, right?
I was gonna say it's mostly cartilage, isn't it?
No, it's what used to be poor people food, but now it's kind of shit. Just like when I was in India, I was living with some Persians for a while, and they would make me go to meat market because not a lot of people get meat in India.
Yeah.
So they make the new white kid go to meat market. So I'm carrying like beef knuckles back so we can make like beef knuckle broth and shit. It's not popular on the bus.
Wait a minute, beef has knuckles?
Yeah.
I thought they were just hooves.
Well, at the joints, yeah.
Okay.
Oh. You're picking up like a radio signal?
It's like someone on a speakerphone outside that door.
Oh, it's probably Billy's. We are in an active working.
We are in a working theater.
Yeah,
Yes. This is not some fancy studio.
I would imagine they can kind of hear it.
All right, I'll get it out.
But
come on. We're working over here.
It's all good. We're getting the secrets of the theater.
So if you want to know how this theater works, just tune us out and listen to Bill.
Yeah.
So big friggin' F-off balloon floating across the United States.
How
And
big
was
it though?
Well, the payload they say was like 3 school bus size.
Wow.
Really?
But then you had to have a balloon big enough. But this thing was flying at like 70,000 feet or something, which was 10 or 20,000 feet higher than commercial airliners fly. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, it had to have like sensors for like scanning all kinds of stuff, right?
I would think so. Yeah, cameras, and might have had some weather equipment in there to throw us off. I don't know. Who knows? My favorite though was Donald Trump Jr. suggesting to the people of Montana that they go outside and shoot it down with their hunting rifles and whatnot.
At 70,000 feet?
It's 70,000
Does he have no concept of how far that is?
Nobody.
All right.
No, I'm hoping
That's almost
that nobody
15 miles, right? Yeah.
Because you know what? When you shoot a bullet up in the air, it doesn't just disappear. It does come back
Is it
down.
going to the ether? Yeah, no, it really does.
And it could seriously injure people.
Didn't his dad like tell people to shoot at the hurricane in Florida?
They were going to nuke the hurricane.
Oh, that's what it was.
No, that's somebody who just watches too much TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, don't shoot at weather balloons. Don't do it. Yeah,
he actively said, well, can we just drop a nuke on it or something? And like, no. What's wrong with you?
Spread a bunch of radiation at large distance.
Right.
Yeah, 70,000 feet is that. But, there's no doubt that we have, I don't know, for the amount of money, and this is worldwide, this isn't just the U.S., but I mentioned we're going to be talking about the Earth, that's next. But it just kind of shows, because then they're a NATO member, just, and we dump more money than anybody into military stuff, but it's only geared for one thing, right? So anything not on that specific job list, it's just worthless, right? So it's like, we need to diversify what our defense needs.
Yeah.
Right? We can't just have, anti something somewhere. You know what I mean? It's like when the, COVID pandemic first hit the U.S. shores, we didn't have much of a response, right? It's like, we need to be prepared for emergencies and not just invasions or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's it's weird to me that that's not, that of all the think tanks and all of the Pentagon, and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars since the Second World War, it's like we're woefully unprepared for most contingencies.
Yeah.
It would seem.
You talked about it a few episodes ago, the fact that we only had like 2 hospital ships, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, and the next story we were going to bring up was the huge earthquake in Turkey.
Yeah, which is
Syria.
awful. It's just awful.
And the last I heard, there was almost 8K.
No, it's still over 12 right now.
Is it over 12 now? Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, it's awful.
But I mean, if that hit here,
it's from Everett to Portland.
Yeah.
Right? Because like Istanbul was out this time, although was that 99, 2000 something? They got hit. They got slammed.
What was the strength of the earthquake?
It's 7.8.
7.8. Yeah.
Okay. That's about the same as the one that leveled, was it Southern California back in the 90s?
Oh, is it? Yeah, that was rough. The pancake, the
overpass.
yeah, that was rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we have I know in that neck of the woods, I think they've just in the last 20 years done a lot of rebuilding after that earthquake, right? But that was kind of further northeast, I believe, right? So,
and I gotta think that I'm not picking on Turkey and Syria. I know Syria's even worse shape because they're going through the civil war.
it's awful. Yeah,
it's already a huge humanitarian crisis, but I gotta think that they probably don't have OSHA type rules that
that's
we
my
do
guess.
here.
Yeah.
So
and I don't know that.
rebuild,
I'm sure they have building codes, but I just don't know. Their building codes are only as good as the people who enforce them. Right. It's like, because industry is always going to look for a way to cut corners because they don't care.
Yeah.
It's all short-term stuff, right? Yeah, and I know they've had a massive, building growth in the last 20 years, famously, because it's been, the same leadership all along. So
I can't say it. Erdogan.
Yeah, Erdogan. Yeah. So it's, I don't know. I don't know what their code enforcement is like.
Yeah.
But 7, 8, and at some point it doesn't matter because human facilities are only human. Where the best of materials and the best of design can only withstand so much. That's just how that is, right?
You can't proof it for everything.
You just can't. You just can't. And earthquakes are a pretty good example of that.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just too big for human systems for the most part.
Yeah. So again, I think we talked about earlier, storing up some water, getting the canned foods,
Oh yeah, no, we have to have our own stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason that the 3 of us should be calling for emergency stuff unless it's an emergency, right? Because we're capable people, right? And it's just, you know what I mean? It's like we're capable of doing that.
Yeah.
So, and then my building collapses on me, then fucking it's happening anyway. But for something simple, if the buildings 20 miles away collapse, then I'm not needing the infrastructure, right? That's provided for us and just take it for granted, right?
Right.
It's like that way. You know what I mean? It's like I don't have to go to the store. I don't have to get fuel. I don't have to do all that other shit that can be used for emergencies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and medications and whatever y'all need to have some extra. Just have a third or whatever left over, right? Doesn't mean you have to stockpile fucking nothing. Just be sensible about it and have a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Enough to get you through a week or two.
Right? It's not that hard, man. It's not that hard. Clean water's the hard part, right? Because once the sewer pipes break and all that. I just happen to live by Lake Washington, and I have a number of water purification systems, but you can get a hiking catadin or whatever.
Yeah, I
way under
got those,
$60. Yeah,
the straws. I got 3 of them, one for each of us in the house.
Yeah.
They just suck the water right out of anything, and
that's right.
Takes most of the
a human head.
Hello,
like
party
a Capri
massacre.
Sun, yeah. Yeah, but that's if you got them, right? Because then you just get a bucket, right, and
Right.
pour it into individual glasses and then just drink from the glass.
Yeah,
Right? It'll
yeah.
keep you alive, right?
It's
Keep you from getting.
amazing how much water a single human in our society and stuff will go through in a day.
Sure.
You have no idea. I mean,
Yeah.
shower and drinking and brush your teeth.
What
and
was
all
that
that
S word?
stuff.
Oh, he kids. No, he doesn't.
No, flushing the toilet, all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, it's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, and if any, I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but once anything happens in your nose and you're not devastated and on fire and all that, fill your bathtub, right? Because then with that bath water, you can take from them. That's 50 gallons, right?
Yeah.
If you have a bathtub, and if not, just fill up everything because water's not going to last.
Pots, pans.
Yeah. Once electricity's gone, then they can't pump water, right? So that's if the actual systems within are broken up.
Yeah.
Earthquakes are some shit, man.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, and get to know your neighbors. It's not a bad thing to be friendly with your neighbors.
At
right?
least to know where you stand.
Who-
And are they
who's gonna
tender?
try to
In case
eat
it comes to
me?
cannibalism, yeah. Are they tasty?
Just
are they
in
filled
3
with
days.
weird shit?
days
Yeah.
Is
later,
that why
they're
they've been
trying
nice to me? Because in case the,
Yeah, that's what it is. Though.
I'm gonna be the nice roast they have in their backyard.
He
It'll
loves
be on a
Chianti.
rotisserie thing.
Yeah. What a nice Chianti.
They're gonna dig a hole in the back and just cover me with a bunch of like leaves.
Like a luau.
And the toddler
Oh,
out.
that's so good. Have you guys ever had the luau?
I've never been to a luau.
Oh,
No.
I have once, and it was amazing.
Kahlua pork.
Nice.
It's just like salty pork, but
It's like spam,
Slow roasted.
but better. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
not spam.
I wasn't gonna say it was like spam. Spam is very interesting meat.
Spam is spam, right? It's like, because it's not really, it's sort of meat, but it's just
It's like
mostly salt and fat.
I think
yeah.
it stands for sort of processed animal meat.
Is that what it is?
No, not
No.
really. Not really. Or
And there is
science
a
was-
spam museum, I think, in either Wisconsin
man.
or Minnesota.
That's
Really?
great.
Gold stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they have carvings
yeah.
of spam, right? Spam carvings and shit like that.
They also
Oh,
do
probably.
like
I think so, yeah.
cheese.
But it
carvings,
throws them,
too.
if y'all like that, put that in your
Ew.
larder.
Yeah.
Get an extra can every time you go to the store, right?
Spam is really big in Hawaii. They have like 17 different flavored cans of spam.
Oh, man.
Yeah. How long does spam last, though?
Like
Any kind of can meat's
like
3 years,
a
right?
year
And
and
it's
a
salty.
year and a
as
half, I
fuck.
think.
Yeah. In bacteria's like, oh man, what are you, nuts?
In fact,
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat this
Give you a
drywall over here.
my roommate was making himself some spam sandwiches last night, actually, and we were joking about what the acronym of spam was, and I just pulled that one out of my ass. And scientifically produced animal meat was the other one I thought of, because it's not real anything.
I think the last time I had spam, one of my ex-wives made me dinner, and it was like a spam seaweed wrap. It was almost supposed to be like a
Yeah,
sushi
it is
thing.
sushi.
And I bit into that thing, and it was like,
Yeah, no, I bet that was that's a.
I'm not really that hungry.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just
man.
remembered something I had to do
Dude.
somewhere.
I legit, the first time I ever had sushi was at a place up on Capitol Hill, like a block away from Dick's.
You told us this story.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, it still
Yeah,
still
then you
sits
ran
in my
to Dick's.
mind.
Really ingrained in his.
Yeah. Anytime I hear the word sushi, I remember that experience.
I've had sushi though that I did like and just go by. It was
Straight
like
up.
$80. The plates are coming by on a conveyor belt.
Oh,
and you're like,
yeah.
suddenly I'm poor.
They count the number of plates you
Yeah.
spent $5
Somebody
on.
This color code. It's like that one's only $1.50. That was like
Food.
$12. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
But it looks so good. I just
Yeah, it's
couldn't
just-
resist.
yeah, just
The other
spinning by.
place I went to is a place in. Hi, Bill.
Hi. If you were supposed to be driving anywhere on 405 around Renton, you might want to call family and let them know you're A-OK. All lanes are blocked due to a massive accident that has completely shut down 405
Oh,
from here
man.
past I-5.
I
And
think
now
all
you
my,
know.
I think all my kids are home.
But I mean for yourself, so
Yeah.
partners don't get like, where the hell are you?
So you're stuck, huh?
I'm not going anywhere. I have a rehearsal.
Oh,
So,
that sounds like fun.
but just saying, if you're supposed to be on 405 at this point in time.
All right.
Abandon all hope.
Scary stuff. Yeah.
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 You ain't going nowhere today.
Bye, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Try to avoid the 5
Yeah.
the plague that
Oh,
it is.
definitely, yeah.
And thanks to the Our Town podcast for letting us know about the traffic that happened 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
See, this is why, you don't want us to be live. It's, it needs a little bit of polish, bro. It's okay.
I'm not gonna edit that one out.
I would keep that one in.
Yeah. Okay, spam. Yeah. All right.
The original spam.
I might go get some spam and just for this weekend and just cook it up. See,
Wait, and if you like fried spam or something, it's like, of course it's delicious because it's deadly.
I think if you wanted to try some of the flavored spams, they have them at Wajimaya, which is the
That
Asian
makes
market
sense.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. And I could see throwing like some lime on it or something.
Yeah, just cook it up with some eggs or something.
Something.
I actually shopped there once for a DoorDash, and I was completely lost because everything was in subtitled, or not subtitled, translations underneath the native languages of the products and stuff. And I'm trying to find these items by looking at the packaging and on the photos on the app. This doesn't look like it's the same thing, but it says the same thing. I don't know what this is. And I every 5 minutes I was asking a cashier to help me find stuff. But
That's good though, right? That's kind of why they're there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take away from other people who needed, to be checked out and stuff. But
My problem is I go in down the sauce aisle. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this, and talk about the sushi place, and $1,200 later, I'm like, what am I gonna do with all these sauces?
There's one right here in Grady, a sushi place that does the conveyor belt thing.
I have not been to that one.
That's the other place I ate at, and actually that place was decent until I think it was a salmon thing, and it slid down my throat. And
salmon is one of the fish that I'll eat.
I'll eat it cooked next time, but I'm never eating it raw. Because
When
but you just gotta kind of.
What's that boat ride over to Telecom Village? Is that
I've done that. That's cool shit.
That's cool. They smoke it. They flay it out, and then they smoke it right there over a roaring fire.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that's pretty.
That was the best salmon I've ever had in my life. And I did that back in the '80s because I was in Scouts when I did that.
Yeah.
So.
Is that part of British Columbia?
No.
That's the local tribe here in the Seattle area.
Yeah, I just remember we rode a little boat over there.
Well, we didn't ride a little boat. We were on like a
Argosy or something.
Argosy took us over.
Yeah. All right. From earthquakes to spam to Pink Floyd.
Oh,
have you
what's
guys
going on
heard?
with Floyd?
So, are you guys Floyd fans?
I like their music, but I don't know if I would call myself a fan. I don't know any of the behind the scenes stuff of the band. That's kind of what I would call a fan, is someone who knows the individual people and what they do.
How about you?
I listen to Animals a lot.
Yeah.
I like Dark Side is a great album.
Yeah, Dark Side is good. That's my honey's go-to.
Well, Roger Waters and David Gilmour do not like each other. Gilmour came in as Sid Barrett was going a little sideways and kind of filled in for him, and then over time the battle of the egos kind of took place, and Waters and Gilmour couldn't get along, so Waters stepped out of the band, and it kind of became Gilmour's band with Mason and the other guy. But they've always had a contentious relationship, and just recently Gilmour's wife went off on Waters on Twitter or something, calling him a fascist, and saying that, not a fascist, but saying that he aligns with Putin and he's anti-Semitic and all this stuff. And I guess he was disappointed. He said he was disappointed because the Pink Floyd just put out a song for Ukraine to raise money for Ukraine refugees and whatnot.
Sure.
And he was like against using the Pink Floyd name to release this song and some other stuff. So battle, ego, band, one of the biggest bands in the world of all time, right? Most sales. Dark Side of the Moon's probably sold, 80 million copies.
I mean, famously, right? It didn't. I don't think it's ever left the top 200.
Yeah.
Do you think this is manufactured rage to sell more albums?
No, I don't think so. I think they truly don't like each other. I don't know what spawned this whole thing, but
I knew they've had issues in the past, but you know, one of them didn't necessarily want to be the new singer or didn't want to take over for the guy who had, you know, mental health crisis or whatever.
yeah, Sid Barrett went a little nuts and probably too much LSD or something.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's the story I heard. Was like he
he'd
had
been
way too much
he's
acid.
been institutionalized for decades, right?
Well, he's dead now.
Oh.
He passed away a few years ago.
I mean, that's the whole
But I think
whole
it
album
was-
was
yeah.
about him, wasn't it? That the one
Shine On You Crazy Diamond is about him. There might be some other songs, but that's the most famous.
was like,
one.
hello, anybody out there?
Oh, like Comfortably Numb.
Comfortably Numb was about him too, I think.
It could be,
Huh.
Todd. I'm not
I
gonna
think it's
pretend
about
that I
Hank.
know.
I thought it was anyway. I mean, I could be
It's
wrong.
just
It's
the
possible.
saddest record of all time.
I fucking love that album, though.
Christ.
I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's one of
And that's
those.
one of those records I remember where I was when I first heard The Wall, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that was a Waters joint, doing the wall and stuff.
oh,
That was
yeah.
kind of his.
That's his joint for
his
sure. Oh
joint,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. That's his thing. You can tell the difference between the Gilmore stuff.
Right.
Right. It's like
And then once Waters left, Gilmore takes over.
and makes some good and
Yeah.
great selling records and good records. But
Yeah.
it's just different, right?
Right, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Waters just has kind of a bitterness to him, right?
Yeah.
A smoky, smoldering bitterness.
Yeah, that's kind of a good way to
Yeah.
put it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's solid, right? It's like The Wall is untouchable.
Yeah.
And I really do like Animals. Animals kind of, for me, is more of a full package, right? Because The Wall is just very, like, you know, it's rough. It's, you know, a kid stuck at home during the Second World War. His
Right.
dad dies, his mom's crazy, and the fascists are rising, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's rough all the way.
It's not
Animals
a
is
heavy
psychedelic and a psychological album, but it's really a good record.
You know who does a
It's-
really good cover of The Wall is Korn.
Oh, that's
They
interesting.
do an amazing cover. I saw them. I won free tickets from KSW years ago to see them live. I was like, at that point, I would have never paid to see Korn, never. But I saw them live. I was like, wow, these guys are really good. And then they did that. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And I became a casual fan of theirs. And I don't really, again, I don't go out and buy everything they've ever done. But
They were on an episode of Monk that I saw
Oh,
recently.
really?
Yeah.
Korn, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
What's his name? Jonathan something?
Jonathan Davis.
Davis? Is
Sorry,
that-
I got my brain focused in
Yeah,
on
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
said in the credits.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have recognized
He
that.
actually did the music for Queen of the Damned, but the record label wouldn't allow him to record the songs for the soundtrack, so he got a bunch of his contemporaries to record those songs for the album.
All right.
But he did all the vocals for Lestat's character in the movie,
Yeah.
whatever he's saying.
Well, with the whole Floyd thing, I was thinking about other bands that have had bands or actors, you know, feuding, directors, actors feuding. And just,
The one that stood out immediately for me was Guns N' Roses
yeah, I thought about that one too.
Yeah.
Slash and Duff versus Axl.
Axl.
And it's
yeah.
mostly Slash and Axl, I think.
Yeah, I think the big kind of, it was Axl's like, this is my music, my band, you guys can fuck right off.
Yeah.
And they were like,
I'm
yeah,
not
well,
sure
see ya.
how realistic that is, Axel.
But I mean,
How's your Chinese democracy?
Well, fuck, he's got one note, bro. At least Slash can play more than one
he
note.
legitimately, the thing is he legitimately owned the rights to fucking everything.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, then legally, he's correct, but
Yeah.
in any other sense of that, he's not correct.
But, I
He's
mean,
not.
then Velvet Revolver came around and
Right.
showed that, like, Guns N' Roses is really not just Axl. And
Right.
it's, the thing they were missing the whole time was Scott Weiland. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
the original lineup, minus I think one or two people are back in GNR. So
And then what was Duff's band up here? Was that Walking Papers or
I don't remember.
something like
He's
that?
had in a ton of
Yeah,
different
but he was
stuff,
in like
yeah.
the farts and shit back in the day. But
I used to run into him all the time at like local shows. Nice dude.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Written a couple of good books too. He's got one that talks about financial stuff, you know, managing your finances.
That's nice.
Because him as a young man getting into these bands and signing this huge contracts and stuff, and like, how do I manage this money, you know, and blow through a whole bunch of it. And took him a while to learn what to do and what not to do.
Didn't he also have like some like short-term memory problems too?
No, I don't know.
It's called weed.
Well, no, like he has like a legit like medical thing.
No, I didn't know. Yeah,
So
he
he has to
be doing just fine.
I think it's similar
plus,
to
when you're rich, doesn't matter. It's like you have people do your shit for you.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's
Well,
great.
Assistants and managers.
It's traumatic brain
Oh,
injury or
bummer.
some
I
shit.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
But as they say, Mike, more money. No, sorry, mo money, mo problems.
Well, I want to give that a test someday. Speaking
I
of,
would totally
didn't
like-
some dude in Auburn win the? Is that a rumor or is that
Yes,
true?
no, it's true. Like 470 something.
He can just buy Auburn.
$1 million. Yeah.
Name it
Well, he can
Otisville.
have it, but-
It's called Joe's Town. I'm Joe. This is my town.
Yeah.
He lives in Auburn. Like he could go out to Enumclaw and make some changes out there.
Maybe,
I
yeah.
don't know. You can go anywhere he wants now. Shoot.
Yeah, that's pretty
If
good.
it was me, you guys just. We used to know a guy that was here. We just disappeared one day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Got a private island somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his own podcast studio now.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, any other, I mean, so that came to mind for me too, Todd, was the Guns N' Roses thing.
Yeah.
Metallica and Megadeth, because Dave Mustaine was the
Yeah.
original guitarist for Metallica
Sure.
back in the
Yeah.
day.
I
And
know.
the Beatles too, right? Didn't the Beatles finally?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a John
Yeah,
and
well, they-
Paul
yeah,
thing?
Paul and John.
They all quit because John and Yoko were like making decisions for the band and shit.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Chris Franz from the Talking Heads put out a little autobiography maybe a year before last, and I read that, and it's all kind of a beat up David Byrne kind of a thing. They don't get along very well. And he's married to Tina Weymouth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who's the bassist?
Yeah.
Right. But he's a really good drummer, and she's a really good bassist. And
Didn't also like the Ramones? Didn't several members of the Ramones?
Johnny and Joey friggin' hated each other.
Huh.
Not hated each other. So there is a song called KKK Took My Baby
Yeah.
Away. That's about, Joey wrote that because Johnny took his girlfriend or his wife and married
shit.
her. So Joey in his sadness wrote KKK Took My Baby Away
man.
because Johnny is a conservative guy.
Yeah.
And I think the rest of the band kind of leans left, if you will.
Wow.
Yeah. So he always accused of being a Nazi,
Sweet.
KKK guy. But yeah, that's a band with some strife there for sure.
And actually, me and Mike were talking about this earlier. There's lots of, well, not public anymore, but there used to be lots of animosity between Peter, Chris, Ace Frehley, and Gene and Paul from Kiss.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because, Peter and Ace were people who used recreational drugs and alcohol to excess, and the other two didn't. So it was kind of
Yeah, and that's kind of I guess maybe a cautionary tale. Ace is still a screaming good guitarist.
He won't talk about Kiss though.
You won't talk about Kid. But if you look at it, I mean, Ace and Gene are friggin' just gajillionaires, right? Money-wise.
Yeah,
Paul,
I would think.
Paul's not
Yeah.
doing too bad either, but Gene is really, he markets fucking.
Oh, I'm sorry,
everything.
Paul and Gene, not
Yeah.
Ace. Ace, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what
I'm
the
sure Ace
contract
is
looked
doing
like.
all right.
Oh, yeah, because they're still selling that same old records, right?
Yeah.
Kiss Alive or whatever, still selling.
And all the
Somebody's
marketing
buying
stuff,
it.
right?
Oh, yeah.
They own all that marketing stuff.
Yeah, but it might just be one or two of them that own the rights to that.
I think that's Gene and-
Gene and Paul.
I can see
own the
because they were
rights.
they're the
Yeah.
core.
If you've never watched any interviews with them, I recommend looking them up on YouTube because there's a bunch. I remember seeing an interview with Paul, and he was just like, "Yeah, no, I did all the writing and arranging of music in the early days of in the '80s. Right around the time we took our makeup off and stuff, and then that's when Gene decided he wanted to be a movie star.
Yeah, not Time Cop. What was he in?
That Tom Selleck movie with the robotic spider things.
Yeah.
He was in that. I think he was in a movie with John Stamos. Little known movie. I can't think of the name of it, but he's always playing like a transvestite character, right?
No. He's always playing a bad guy though.
Yeah. I think he's been a transvestite in a couple of movies.
God,
Which is
damn,
interesting.
wow.
So, best for me, Kiss song, New York Groove, Ace Frehley on the solo albums.
Just the solo albums are awesome. Right, the 4 separate.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's
except for all 4 of them recording all those albums.
Yeah, sure, but it was just marketing. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Each one's a different color
Again, marketing.
scheme.
Yeah.
Oh no, I remember when that happened. And then the Melvins famously did their own version of that.
Oh, did they really?
Oh no, it's fantastic. Because the Melvins love to plagiarize stuff.
Yeah.
They do Misfits plagiarism, like the icons and such.
Yeah.
No, it's fantastic.
Huh.
Yeah, I think that was their first disco song too, because that was right around the time of disco, and then they did what was that one with like everything was sparkly and diamond something or other.
Yeah.
He might actually know. No,
Yeah.
outside the door.
Yeah.
Bill would definitely know.
Yeah. Oh, it's a weird movie. It's not Phantom of the Opera. It's Phantom
Kiss versus
Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that. Oh, the one we were talking about earlier is Runaway with Tom Selleck.
Yes, Runaway. Oh,
And
that had the little robot spiders.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then
I haven't seen that in forever.
the movie Detroit Rock City, which is essentially just a big fucking love letter to Kiss.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
great.
it's a
With
fun
Eddie
movie.
Furlong, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Dude, that was, I'm not saying it was terrible. It was great. It
But
just,
it's definitely
it's
a love letter to Kiss.
Shannon Tweed is like the hooker in the movie.
Oh, Shannon Tweed. Oh, man.
It only took
That's
her.
the
It only took her
80s.
2014 before they actually got married. She was threatening to leave him and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know she was she part of. Is that like Gene's lady or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
They got 2 kids
Oh.
together. Yeah.
Oh, because
They did a reality show.
That's how I know about
with
this.
The Osbournes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Family Jewels. It's on Amazon's Freevee. You can watch the entire series.
Huh.
There's even
That I won't.
a celebrity roast of Gene Simmons, which
Oh
is
well, I might tune into
really
that.
you can find that on YouTube actually.
I mean,
Yeah.
did they invite Peter and Ace?
Yeah.
No, but
They
they-
just throw poop at him.
They, no,
You owe me $20 million, bro.
yeah, no, neither one of those guys were at the roast,
Yeah.
but they got a local comedian who does like a spot on impression of Gene and Paul to roast
Nice.
them. So
Nice. Yeah, the thing I remember about that show, and I don't think I watched a lot of it, but just being in Gene Simmons' house, they showed, like the Kiss room.
it's
Or maybe it was a different show.
that,
Maybe
no,
it
that was
like
that was
Cribs or
his
something.
office, that room with
Yeah,
all
it
the
was just
memorabilia.
everything you could think of Kiss.
And the thing is 90% of that stuff was all bootleg stuff too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sues people for copyright infringement and then
takes
owns
their
it.
stuff.
That's what we're gonna do. We're
Oh
gonna sue
yeah.
fucking-
Anytime I see the letter R, I'm suing.
So it's,
Rainier Bear, you're coming after you.
but he actually came after Bob Rivers because of their
Yeah.
parody.
Oh.
Yeah, but parody rules are very, very, very broad, dude.
Yeah.
Satire stuff, it's really hard to.
Yeah,
but
and I think that's the
but
only
you don't
reason
always
why.
have to win a lawsuit,
I think
right?
that's the
You
only
just
reason
sue
why
them,
he
and they get
didn't get
stuck
it.
having to pay their way through a lawsuit. It's not.
Right.
It still
I mean,
goes on.
Gene does have the money to like do the lawsuit and everything, but
I don't
yeah,
think
he couldn't get it because of the
Of course, when
the
he would
rules
take it,
of
just throw it
copyright
out,
and,
yeah.
and parody.
Oh yeah, no, or Man Magazine would have been long gone.
I mean,
you know what I mean? It's like,
I think that
yeah, and that's good because the jester is supposed to be able to poke fun,
right.
right?
And-
That's kind of it's okay.
And I think
Relax.
that's the reason why Weird Al is so famous and so successful is because he gets permission and because he pays royalties for his parodies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm not against paying royalties, mind you.
No.
That's not what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean. That's not.
I would love somebody to parody. That would be friggin' awesome. But
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is until it is.
it is until it is.
Until it actually hurts your feelings. Oh. Yeah.
That's why I just
Smart
punch
ass
people.
idiots,
Throw
yeah.
Punching babies as they go by. Yeah, any other bands or anything? Have you guys had any work disputes yourselves, possibly?
Well, I had a band dispute with the guy that I
Oh.
went to California with.
Oh,
Sean
really?
Hill. Yeah, he was the first drummer of Sexy Freud and the Ego Whips.
Nice.
I know, don't all crowd the internet looking that shit up. But anyway, so we had a practice place right behind the Denny's on Renton, which is now gone.
Oh, yeah.
And so our practice bed was behind that and would often flood, which is awful. But so we had a giant 55-gallon barrel where all the beer cans and bottles and gross shit went into. So it was basically island for fruit flies.
Okay.
And so John was going to recycle the cans, right? So he kicks it over. and a giant pool of old, gross beer filth just kind of spreads across the bedroom floor. And we're just like, dude, what did you think was going to happen? Well, what do you think was going to happen?
Sticky mess.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But that wasn't necessarily, that didn't stop the band or anything, but it was just one of those things that perhaps we were just like, that was a one-step thought process. There's no like, it was gross, and that was legendary. I brought it up the other He's all trying to deny, well, I couldn't have done that. It's like, no, dude, I was there, man.
That's too funny.
Did you guys ever release anything?
We had a 4-song, and then we were on an EP with like Big Top and some other bands on what's the name of the record label? But yeah, not a lot.
All right. Yeah.
I would like to put some stuff up on Bandcamp or something.
Yeah.
You should.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
I just need to learn how to, digitize it into a format that I can do that.
Yeah. My
That's
buddy Kevin White, Cubby White, you know Cubby?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got looks like
Yeah, he's
Goody
Goody Black and
Country
Country
Times
yeah,
back
him and
together.
yeah. Which is great. They're playing shows. I think I don't know if they're living in Tacoma, but
I don't know. I just remember him because he worked for me for a while.
yeah, he's a sweet guy.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
And one of their guitar players was in Don't Dispel or Tree
really?
People or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mike, the music that you're wanting to like convert to a format that you work, is it on CD or something?
And some of it is, and some of it's on cassette.
Well,
But I would like to get it all at least put onto like a Google Drive thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, you can rip CDs directly to a PC. I mean,
If you have a reader, yeah.
Yeah, if you have a CD drive, period.
Right.
You can rip audio CDs.
If you don't, I do. So just,
Right.
I do as well. Actually, have mine is one.
Yeah, trust me, there's no hurry.
But
The world is not missing out.
Banging down the door.
Reason why I was asking,
A&R Records.
reason why I was asking is depending on the format it's in, because CDs are really easy to rip. They make cassette players that will plug into a PC, so you can.
Oh, jeez. Because it would be a USB type thing.
It would, yeah. It's a USB
That makes sense.
cassette player.
I've
thing.
seen USB record players and such. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And they work pretty good.
Yeah,
I've not-
because then
I've not
once it's
used
on
it.
a PC, you can always monkey with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. And cassettes, I should get that stuff off of cassette onto some kind of ether. You know what I mean? Before the tape just disintegrates, right?
Yeah, probably 15 years ago, about 15 years ago, I ripped all my CDs, and I had probably 2,500 CDs, and I ripped them all onto streaming or digital format.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever, and I've still got them, but transitioned to iTunes and back to Windows Player and blah blah blah, just there. But some I can't get anymore because the file's been whatever.
Corrupt.
I don't have the CDs any
Yeah.
longer. But I kept all the rare CDs that I would have a hard time finding again.
Yeah,
So I kept waiting for that.
I've kept my cassettes and CDs that were from non-major labels.
Yeah.
All my
Stuff
music
like
is
that.
digital these days. I used to be that guy that had the wallet full of CDs that was like this fucking big.
Yeah.
And I got it last time I got it stolen out of my car. I was
That's
like, you know what?
Shitty.
And actually right after that, what I did was I just made copies of all the CDs, and I had the blanks or the
Sure.
copies of the CDs in the car. So if they got stolen, poof, I can carry them, make a new one. But then I decided, you know what? Everything's going MP3 players now, so I just have digital copies of all my music. I had a friend who was a DJ, so anytime he would get something new on his hard drive, I would grab a copy of it and put it online. So I can't even tell you, that's like 30 gigs of music, so a lot of music. That's insane amounts of music. I don't even know what half of the stuff I have anymore. So
Yeah. Right on. Todd, what about you? You ever had any work disputes? Anybody you had to beat up in after hours in the
no,
back by the
I've
dumpster?
never. I mean, shouting matches, yes. Beat up, no. I've actually been fired from a couple places because of disagreements with coworkers or bosses or whatever.
Yeah.
But And that was more because of like the neurodivergent just perception of aggression, you know, and just thinking that this person's being disrespectful to, you know, and they were just confused by what it is I was saying or doing. But yeah, so nothing really to speak of as far as things that have happened, just lots of disagreements and not being able to keep that job because of such.
I have, but they're all still under arbitration. I can't talk about it.
I think one of the, you know, it was simultaneously the coolest place I ever worked and the shittiest place I ever worked. And I'm not gonna say the place. It's kind of a famous museum in Seattle near the Space Needle, and but
less pop, I think they call it.
something popular culture, something. You know, I enjoyed working there. I just the individuals I worked with were not pleasant. So
yeah, that sucks when you really like a job, but then the people suck, and you sort of start to just rue going to work that day.
It's like I got to be around like really cool science fiction and stuff, and they had the before I actually worked there as an employee, I was a volunteer, and I volunteered during the Jim Henson exhibit they had back in 2010, which was
nice.
The fucking coolest exhibit ever because they had actual puppets there.
Puppets.
I feel like I went to that. Yeah.
Oh, it was so cool.
And the Muppets, thank you.
Oh yeah, I actually got to.
Todd got in trouble because he was putting his hand up all.
Yeah.
No, the other puppets were behind glass. You couldn't touch them. But I did get to meet. I did get to meet Brian Henson and the puppeteer who was Red Fraggle.
Oh.
And
I have met her.
She's from Seattle.
Yeah, she works. Well, she was at the time working for Valve. I have a friend that works for Valve.
Oh.
You can get a job there and get it because they pay astronomical on their benefits. They take all their employees to Hawaii for a week, all expenses paid.
Nice. Right on.
And they had a guy that his sole job was to ride around on a scooter. And I think they've moved since, but they had like 3 or 4 floors in this Bellevue high rise, and on every floor there was like 4 snack centers in each of the corners of the building. Yeah. And his job was to ride around on a scooter and restock all the snacks. And I'm like, and he's probably making like 90 grand a year or something to ride. Jimmy, we need more corn nuts.
Funyuns, man. We need more Funyuns.
Yeah, Mr. Pibb.
But yeah, I met her. And she
Super
actually signed. I think she. God, there was like a little Fraggle Rock toy or something, and she autographed it for the friend that.
This was in 2010, mind you. This is before Brian kind of accidentally announced that they're working on another Dark Crystal thing. He wasn't supposed to say anything, but it finally came out like a couple of years ago on Netflix. Which, if you've never seen it, watch the Dark Crystal series. But yeah, I told her she was like her character was one of my favorites on Fraggle Rock. Red and Gobo were like the 2 that I thought were funny as shit.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, really? She was supposed to be kind of the one that all the girls were gonna like, but I find out that a lot of guys liked her too. She was just a cool character.
Yeah. Nice lady. Had breakfast. I can't think of her name. Had breakfast with her.
Yeah, I have her autograph someplace, and it's her last name starts with a P. That's all I really remember. Karen something. Yeah. She was really sweet, and Brian was fucking cool shit. I asked him, I said, did you ever get a chance to do any of your dad's puppets? Puppetry and voicing. He's like, no, because by the time I'd kind of worked through, that. The passing of your parent, they already had established other people to play my dad's parts.
Yeah, and he did Happy Time Murders.
Dude, that movie is so funny. Oh my god, that movie's hilarious. The opening sequence where the detective is having sex.
I mean, it's unreal.
God. Yeah. these are legitimately like Muppet style puppets. They look like they belong on Sesame Street.
Somebody's, but it's not animated. It's animated, but it's not animated.
It's legitimately like humans and puppets.
Did you enjoy that better or World Police better with the?
Oh,
marionettes.
You can't really compare the 2.
Yeah,
I mean, Matt and Trey are in
It's
their own realm.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff all the little things. If you've never watched the movie with the commentary, do, because they tell you all kinds of stuff that you would have never noticed had you just watched the movie. Lots of behind the scenes little Easter eggs hiding in the background of that movie.
Yeah,
But
It's insane.
But yeah, Happy Time Murders is a different animal entirely, because it's like they look like Muppets from the Muppet Show or Sesame Street,
mm-hmm.
but the content with those puppets is not at all the Muppets.
Yeah. My favorite meme lately is a picture of the Count from Sesame Street and says, "Name your favorite vampire." And it's the Count from Sesame Street. He doesn't count. Oh no, sir. I assure you, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, who did that voice? Anybody know?
I think
'Cause it's just iconic.
I want to say Jerry Nelson. I think was the Count.
It's right on. Nice,
Yeah.
great.
Let me Google that for you.
That's good stuff. I assure you, he does.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here?
Yeah, let's jump on. Does anybody want to talk about Alec Baldwin?
I don't know
and the
enough about
wrestling?
it. Is there a criminal trial going
There
on?
is
he
now.
charged with manslaughter?
Yeah, I
well,
think he just got charged. I don't know. It's
There's
such a
different degrees,
weird
yeah.
thing, and I don't know if we've got the full story.
Yeah.
But my understanding was he grabbed a firearm that he was told was cold, and didn't realize, and I guess a assistant director or producer or something on there said, "Yeah, you're good to go. Gun's not hot." So he goes out and does his thing.
And points it at another human being.
Points at another human being. But the blame is that he didn't check it himself, right? And I'm like,
I guess he was on set, right?
Yeah.
He didn't go fish it out of the garbage can.
Yeah.
Right, no, he was on set. No, that's on the broadmaster.
Yeah.
Right, if you're racing a car, your chief mechanic is the one who signs off on that shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If the
Yeah.
brakes go out, you don't go, well, he should have checked the brakes before he got on the racetrack. It's like, no, that's not his job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, his drive the car and his
But
just to act.
my place is like, why would you point? You're not filming. That's not an
I
actor.
thought he was filming.
Yeah, but I thought then why? How does he shoot the assistant lighting director?
Well, I
or
think
whatever?
it was like
Yeah.
pointing it at the camera, kind of. A thing.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Ah.
Yeah.
And then he.
Oh, so it wasn't
was
actually
supposed to
like,
be-
hey, June, I'm mad at you or whatever.
No,
But
he
it
was.
seems like there's been enough deaths. I mean, look at Brandon Lee, right?
Yeah.
How sucky is that?
That was,
right?
but that
That
was
was part of the same curse that got his dad. We all know
that was different though. That was a
the triads.
that was a misfire on
Because
a
The
they
rod
didn't
was
clear.
stuck in there.
because
Yeah,
it was a piece of metal that was lodged in there, got launched out.
Yeah.
That's the story that they tell us anyhow. I
just what the triad wants you to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still
But-
mad at
but
Bruce
this,
for
it was a
showing us
legitimate
white
bullet.
people kung fu.
this was a legitimate bullet
Yeah.
that was fired like a normal gun.
Yeah,
Right.
which
That
is
it wasn't accidental in that it was fired, but the accident was
it
that
was an accidental
he
discharge,
didn't, he
right?
didn't
But-
know that it was live ammo.
Yeah, we've got a right here in this very theater. We just received a prop gun,
Okay.
and looks like a cowboy gun. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
kind of what it's supposed to be.
An old
And,
revolver, yeah.
but you cannot. A bullet will not go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't they have those?
Yeah.
It looks realistic enough. Nobody fucking cares, dude.
Right.
And if you need a CG, if you ship that film off to Poland, they will do your CG for $20 and a pack of smokes.
Bullet
Yeah.
heads into the chamber.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's somebody on Fiverr that'll do it for.
Yeah, you know what I
$50.
mean? It's like, I don't know. It confuses me why they're even using that technology. That there's a chance a boo-boo can
I
happen.
legit
Why?
thought that
Why?
every gun.
And it's not like real guns. I mean, if you buy them on the street, they're cheap.
Yeah.
But if you're buying a legitimate gun, it's not cheap, man.
No.
Just
I
get a
legit
fake
thought
gun.
I legit thought that every prop gun was just that, a prop. It wasn't an actual gun. There was no way for it to actually fire anything.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not
Yeah,
the way
especially
it
in
is.
this day and age. I mean, I could see John Wayne and stuff. I ain't fucking taking no prop gun.
Sure.
I know what I'm doing, but I mean, yeah, this day and age, like you said, with the CGI stuff
Yeah,
and stuff.
and
why-
look at all the cool guns at cosplay, right? You go to
Right.
Comic-Con, man, they got cool, it looks like
Yeah.
everything from A to Z, from firearms to laser guns to
Yeah.
swords. It's like, no, people
Yeah.
have got that down pat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no reason for that to even exist, but it
I
did.
know a few cosplayers that have prop guns, and every time they go to con, they have to do what is called peace bonding, which is they have to verify it doesn't fire anything or it can't fire anything, and then they mark it as being safe by putting some zip ties on it to show that it's been checked out.
Well, as a legal gun owner,
psycho.
Whenever I handle one, I mean, I'm always just so friggin' paranoid myself, so I double check, triple check, the whole works,
Every single time. I set down a firearm, every time I touch that firearm, I check.
Yep.
Every single time. I don't care if I'm the only one in the room.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Every time.
So my only thing with Alec Baldwin is he's been in movies for a long time, right? And he's been in the
Camera just went off.
Well, we're recording, right?
Yeah, we're recording.
Oh.
Stand by, please. Just stand by.
Stand by.
Yeah, take your headphones off.
Can't do the. This is a test pattern.
It just turned
If
off.
this has been an actual emergency,
Well, how much time is this battery giving us?
I don't know. That about 70 minutes.
Oh, well, geez, that's not terrible.
That's not terrible.
And I don't know if I
could
could just
plug that into an.
You know what? I really think I could be doing that, and I don't know why I'm not. But I bet I will.
I mean, if we don't need to use the battery, why are we using the battery?
Well, I will do a test in my thumb. I say my thumb. Your what? Thumb.
Gum.
And seems okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's recording.
Yeah, it's back. It looks
All
like
right, and that should be the same settings we had it on.
Ladies and
right?
gentlemen, welcome back to our town
Yeah.
podcast, where we took a little break.
well, on the video side of things, we did.
But yeah, no, Alec Baldwin has been in movies for 35 years or more, 40 years.
Yeah.
And he's been in a ton of roles that have required him to have a firearm of some sort, right?
Yeah.
I mean, tons of movies.
Miami Blues.
Miami
Fred
Blues.
I love that movie.
That big giant gun in that one.
Yeah, Fred Ward.
Yeah.
God bless you, lad.
One of my friends who's a Second Amendment type, he was like, he should have checked it before doing anything with it. It's like, well, isn't that the prop masters for it? I mean, that's what they're.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is me personally, I would have.
Well, that's because you're a responsible gun owner.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think Alec Baldwin is the kind of guy who goes down to the gun range and shoots guns for fun.
Yeah.
I don't know one way or the other, and I don't. And that's why we have a court system that's going to hopefully get to the bottom of it. Right? Because whose responsibility is that?
I mean, if he's like the executive producer, he's responsible. Period.
I think he was the executive
Bummer,
producer.
because then he's in charge of hiring and firing these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think he also though has already made a financial settlement with the woman,
the family
that was
I
killed.
heard they did.
It was the butler.
It was about. I did watch Glass of Onion the other night.
What'd you think of
I
that?
really enjoyed it.
Very
I really
much.
did. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I loved because It's funny, and I'm not trying to be like, you're all wrong, but
The fuck is that?
You were playing with a rubber man or something that flew across the
I
table.
love the fact that Edward Norton kept getting words wrong, because I was sitting there watching it, enjoying the movie, and I was like, wait, is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
And the wife just looks at me like, shut up and watch the movie. But that's not a word.
Yeah, but it was great, and it wasn't because
I'm never watching a movie with you, Charles. I was never watching a movie.
Yeah, no, I really did enjoy it. And Eddie Norton pulls it off again. The guy's great.
He's great.
Yeah.
I loved he's playing the Beatles on the beach, and what's her face comes running up to him. He's like, "Yeah, that's the guitar they wrote it on." And he just kind of drops it.
Just because he's a spoiled brat.
Spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Big time.
And he's a compulsive liar.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that a lot.
And then Daniel Craig jumps up and he's like, "This is what you were gonna do. This was the whole thing." And it turns out that he had this person write this whole scenario. He paid thousands of dollars to have this person write this scenario.
That was great. And he had it within, moments.
25 seconds or something. He's like, if you're gonna get killed by a crossbow.
An interesting bit of trivia that I found out about that movie is the crystal thing that she picks up and looks at and drops.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to happen. She wasn't supposed to drop it. That was they kept it in the movie because it was funny. Number one,
The Janelle Monáe.
yeah, it was like a real thing.
Very, very beautiful woman.
And she drops his step, and that's when they started
or something.
they started destroying everything else because like fuck, I just screwed this up. Let's destroy the rest of them.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, that's my introduction to her.
Yeah,
and she did a great job.
She was in Hidden Figures. She was in.
I still haven't seen that.
There was a slave movie about slave stuff. She was in, but
really, it was about slave stuff.
Too far back on the stuff.
Yeah.
Something fairly
more recent.
12
Yeah.
Years a Slave.
Yeah, maybe 12 Years a Slave.
She did a great job.
Yeah. Really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the twist.
Yeah, and Catherine Hahn's always a delight.
Yeah.
There's Agatha all along, people. I warned you.
Hahn,
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She's so funny.
Yeah. And Kate Hudson, I'm she's like a rom-com queen, but I thought she was just funny. Just her, just.
Oh yeah. I just say what's on my mind.
Yeah.
She's doing a remake of a movie her mom did.
Yeah. Which one?
Death Becomes Me or
Yeah.
Death Becomes You.
Really?
Yeah.
She's with
playing
Meryl and
Meryl and Goldie Hawn was in that, and they I just remember them being all disfigured. And,
yeah, is that Nicholson? Who's in that one?
Jack Nicholson, yeah, the original one, and Goldie Hawn's character had a football-sized hole in her chest.
Yeah.
And she was had spun around backwards.
He stole from Kung Pao. I'll have
you know.
I'm glad to prove that.
Come on.
That was a great movie.
That's a great movie.
Funny as hell.
Yeah, where's that guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bring back Odenkirk.
What's his name?
Steve Odenkirk. Yeah,
Yeah.
he wrote, and I think he wrote both Ace Ventura movies, but he directed the second one. He did all those Thumb movies in the early
Thumb
2000s.
Wars.
How was after that? Right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The fight. I actually bought that DVD, and there is a audio track that shows you what is actually being said because they did the bad overdub on purpose.
Delightful. Oh, yeah, no, it's wonderful.
So there's one set of dialogue that is.
I go pee pee standing up.
There's one line of one track of audio of what the lips are actually saying, and then there's the other what we see in the theaters of what he wants them to say.
Sure. And my kid and I watched that movie 10,000 times.
I tried to watch it with mine. Of course, she was like 11 at the time, and she's like, I don't.
No, it's a boy movie.
Yeah.
No,
I'm laughing my ass off.
She's too smart for that.
Well, the thing is she's also probably has never seen any movies that it's making fun of.
No.
So
movies in general,
because it's just the bad
But even the beginning, the first couple minutes, really like.
Well, there's
just
one
rolled down the hill.
There's one scene. There's one
so
scene.
Cute. Bye.
There's one scene where he's legitimately reading off his laundry list, is the actual words being said, and then they overdub it with I like her, and she's my girlfriend, whatever the lines were,
Sure.
and the girl's like ooey ooey ooey,
Yes, wee ooey.
Grabs his chest, and he's like,
oh man,
the girl.
I mean, it's just so much. It's relentless.
And the other thing is that it was legitimately he took an old '70s era kung fu movie.
Didn't he take two different ones?
That's what it was. Yeah, it was.
Maybe.
He kind of spliced them together.
Spliced them together.
Your shoes are red.
That's right.
And he the moth flying in the guy's mouth.
So dumb.
I need to rewatch that movie.
Yeah.
But
what are the odds of that? Because it happens a couple times. Because it's just relentless, dude. But it's a boy movie, right? You're not going to talk any self-respecting female into that. It's just dumb.
I think if you want her to understand why it's funny, you need to show her some Bruce Lee movies.
Sure, she won't sit for that, so it's all good. I'll enjoy it myself.
I still think my favorite kung fu movie is the one where Bruce Lee is working at the ice factory place and they find a body.
Oh yeah.
And
The Chinese Connection. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That's where it said no Chinese and no dogs, and yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right,
shows
guys.
him barbecuing like a cat. He gets booted out, so he's like living in the wilderness. And it shows him like living in the wilderness with like, and he's like rotisserie style cat.
Gotta eat.
Versus hardcore, man.
So, random question. I actually thought of a question for a random question.
Jeez.
And this is actually,
Forgot we're working.
I know that we
Back to
generally,
work.
I know we generally ask one of you guys. I'm going to ask you both this question.
Yeah.
What album do you own on multiple formats? Like, you've repurchased it every time there's a new format.
Many times. Scorpions' Animal Magnetism.
Oh, that's a good
I've
one.
never not been since 1979.
Yeah.
There's never, and I've been in some rough patches,
Yeah,
but I've never been without that as a album.
Yeah.
And you?
I mean, there's several.
I'll pick one of the several.
Okay, I would say Pearl Jam 10. Bought it on cassette tape when it first came out because I didn't have the extra couple bucks to get the CD. And then when I could afford the CD, I bought the CD. And then I went back and bought the original vinyl release of it. Sometime in the 90s, I was able to find it at a used record store or something.
Nice.
And then recently, they did a reissue of it that included some extra recordings from, I think it was a double album, so I bought that. I've got like 5 versions of it. Something like that, yeah.
I think the one, for me, that has been purchased the most has been the self-titled Metallica album with Enter
Okay.
Sandman. I've had it like three times on CD, and I think I bought it on iTunes, but I think the only other album that I've bought on multiple formats is probably Back in Black.
Yeah.
That's right.
AC/DC.
Yeah,
pretty rare.
probably. I know I had it on vinyl. I don't know if it was, it was bought in the 80s, so I don't know it was original release vinyl. But I've had it on CD. I've had it on cassette because I needed it for the car and all that stuff. But
That's Back in Black.
Back in Black,
Yes.
yeah.
And Down Rocks.
Making those guys rich.
Oh yeah, no, they're doing fine. Yeah, no, they like I think it's like 400 million albums.
Yeah.
Something amazing. Yeah.
Something crazy.
And yeah.
One of the biggest sellers, top 5 at least, maybe
Yeah.
top 3 biggest sellers,
Yeah.
right up there with like Thriller and.
Man, I've seen AC/DC once in concert. It was on it was Thunderstruck album. It was the one that had the Money Talks.
Yeah.
And they actually legit rained the Angus dollar bills on
That's cool.
on the floor, people.
Yeah.
I was up in the bleachers, so I didn't get one of those damn dollar bills.
They're big show, but they're not super big show. Like Kiss is giant show,
Dude.
right? Or Guar or something. But AC/DC always has something cool going on. You know what I mean?
Of course, hose and blood. And
Yeah,
It's a big
blood and
show
other
stuff.
bodily functions
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
liquid. Yeah, I went and saw Guar at the Showbox Soto in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I went to see it just because I wanted to see the live show. I heard that the live show was like phenomenal. The music, not great, but the show was amazing.
Yeah.
I also heard that
Who's the janitor though? You know what I mean? Who has to clean up after that?
they have this screen everywhere.
Oh, good. All right.
Kind of like when we have the
Evil Dead, the
Evil
musical.
Dead
Yeah,
musical
yeah,
here
yeah.
at the theater.
It's about I am
Like
that
the
janitor.
first-
Yeah. Oh,
You had to do the Gallagher seating up front.
yeah, no,
Cover the
absolutely.
seats.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the funny thing is when I was there standing in line waiting to go inside, someone was talking about how like the band that opens for them is Guar without the makeup on.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
That's
those
not
guys
bad.
are fucking great.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I know there's been several iterations of Guar, right?
Well, I mean,
I think the singer's been the only guy.
The original singer died like 3-4 years ago, and then they got a new guy. But yeah, and then they had a female singer for a while too. I think.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, Todd, here's one for you. Keep it in the music realm. I want you to close your eyes and take yourself back to 1999.
Okay.
Are you a Britney Spears guy or a Christina Aguilera guy?
I was an In Flames guy.
What's that?
It's death metal from Sweden.
Oh,
No.
nice. Yeah.
I mean, but if you had to go Britney or Christina, which
I
one would-
wasn't interested in either one of them.
All right.
I wasn't. I really wasn't. In fact, I was annoyed every time that they would appear on TV. Like, do we really need to see them again?
Yeah, and is Christina Aguilera still in? Or is she on one of the talent
she
shows?
was one of the judges on The Voice.
Alright,
She's not a judge anymore, I don't think, but she was one of the original judges on The Voice.
I don't know if she's still producing music or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think she's just
I get her and Gwen Stefani.
She has an incredible voice. Gwen Stefani, though, has had a great career.
She has.
and she married and she was one of the other people that was a host on that show too. She's married to that cowboy, the country guy on that show.
Blake something.
Sheldon.
Yeah. Yeah, Gwen, she hit right time. I mean, that was girl power and had that groovy.
That's another band that had another band that had a falling out. Was No Doubt. Her and No Doubt. She blew up. They didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because jealousy over her success because she was the front lady or something, or the front person.
Yeah. Well, and I think even
didn't that guy cheat on her or something?
The bass player, I think, was like her boyfriend. That Don't Speak was about the breakup of their relationship.
Oh.
Do you like that song? That's a good song.
Yeah, it's a good song. That whole album's really good.
Yeah.
I bought that album. I bought that CD.
Yeah, no, I don't know much about him, and I don't know much about Britney Spears, but I always feel bad for her because it seems to me she was an undiagnosed mental patient, right? And it's rough, and I don't know because I'm trying to get a lot of camera attention and get paid for it. But I haven't had that in my life, you know what I mean? And I bet it is a lot of pressure and paparazzi and all that kind of stuff. I can see it being difficult, right?
Yeah.
Unless you can just kind of shut it off, you know?
I was in late 90s, early 2000s, I was very anti-pop music. I was bothered by the amount of it, and that was fucking everywhere. And I was doing my metal thing back then. I was all about heavy metal and fucking anything else.
Did you enjoy the Seattle scene?
Oh yeah.
See, I picture Todd. So, as far as the big five in the Seattle scene, I think Mike's like the Mudhoney guy because they're more punk rock, right?
Yeah.
Todd, you're more the Alice in Chains because they're kind of more the metal side.
They were definitely Seattle metal. So was Soundgarden. I was into both of those
I was gonna say
bands.
Soundgarden too, but
Yeah,
I
but
think more Alice in Chains.
And I mean, we always skip over Metal Church. Don't forget
Metal Church, yeah.
They're a huge
Queensryche.
deal.
Queensryche, Queensryche's from Redmond.
Yeah, but they've also sold millions of albums.
Yeah.
And Metal Church always should have and didn't. Right? It's like, because there's no way that Metal Church didn't influence Queensryche.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's like, and God bless Queensryche because they got chops. I'm not knocking them. But Metal Church was just a little bit too ahead of their time, I guess, or something. Or whatever that is.
And I had a huge crush on the Wilson sisters too, so.
Oh, sure.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
they came through the Taco Time drive-thru once when I worked.
Did they really?
Yeah, the Taco Time.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm probably the Pearl Jam guys, more the classic rock influence, punk rock influence,
I
metal
was
influence.
a big fan, but at the time I was a Gits guy.
I was.
Oh, sure, the Gits were great. Yeah.
I was also
So
very
sad,
anti-grunge back then
What?
too.
How
Well,
could
there
you
wasn't
be anti-grunge?
Because
I mean, it's
grunge.
grunge.
Kicked metal to the curb on
Oh,
MTV.
you mean like the hair metal stuff?
on MTV?
Not just the hair metal. Every piece of metal that was
I
getting
don't know
popular.
about that because Guns N' Roses was still.
No.
Oh, let alone Slayer, man. Slayer's doing great.
Slayer was doing great, yeah.
No, grunge. 120 Minutes took over the spot that was Metal Shop, or not Metal Shop, but Headbangers Ball.
Sure. Yeah.
So it completely took metal off of MTV.
Sure.
Well, you can blame Nirvana because that was the start of the alternative movement, right?
Because they sold like 20 million albums a month.
The thing is, the only reason why Nirvana got popular is because Pearl Jam, I think of what it was, or it was either Pearl Jam or Soundgarden, one of those two, were supposed to do the Rockin' New Year's Eve thing, and they flaked, and so Nirvana said, "Okay, we'll do it." Yeah.
I don't know.
And,
They rock. They rock. And Bleach is a great record.
It's a great record.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything.
And Negative Creep is one of the most. Have you heard of Negative Creep recently?
Not on purpose, no.
No, it's a rock and roll.
Again,
I read that's one of those songs I remember where I was at the time. I was like, holy shit balls, what is this?
I'm not as.
That's another album though, Bleach, that I've had on CD
One
and
for
album.
another.
Yeah, I'm not as anti-Nirvana as I used to be, but I don't go out of my way to listen to them.
Yeah, I can kind of take Nevermind right now, take it or leave it. If it's on, it's background, fine. But
I will say this though, I did buy the Unplugged album, and I found out the reason why I liked the music on that one so much more is because 90% of the songs were covers.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's David Bowie? Shit. Okay. Awesome. That's
Yeah,
why.
Lead Belly. Yeah, they kind of brought Lead Belly back.
Where'd You
to
Sleep Last Night too? I think it was also a cover.
Yeah, no, it's a Lead Belly song. It's great.
Great song.
That guy's hardcore. If you're into,
Lead
you
Belly.
know, old timey blues stuff,
Right.
it's great.
Yeah, I did a blog just recently. I don't know if I posted it yet, but best 80s soundtracks. We talked about that, and one of the ones is the Blues Brothers, right?
Yeah, both
But then I went
soundtracks
back
are
and
amazing.
looked at the soundtrack of the original Blues Brothers, and I'm like, wait a minute, Howlin' Wolf had a song on there, right? He was in the outside Aretha the restaurant, and he does Boom Boom, right?
No, it's John
Oh,
Lee.
John Lee Hooker.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
John Lee Hooker.
I don't know if Howlin' Wolf
I'm like,
allows
why
anybody
the
to
hell
film
wasn't
in
that
there.
on there?
Yeah. Oh, I don't
On
know.
the
That's
soundtrack,
good.
you know.
I don't know.
Great song, great rendition.
Oh, yeah.
The artist.
No, I know a guy had John Lee stole his girlfriend.
No, really?
Yeah, they like went to a show and they're talking to him, and he just like she left with him.
Good
but
on him.
yeah, no, that is a great soundtrack. I think that's the 70s.
I think
Is it Blues Brothers? The first Blues Brothers?
No, early 80s.
Is it?
81.
All right.
early 80s was
John
the original one,
Landis
and then
Yeah.
Carrie
99.
Fisher's in that. She's got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
like 18 years old.
And all of the cocaine in North America was on that.
Well,
set.
I mean, she was 19 in 77.
Yeah.
So she was
That's
in
what she
her
would have been.
in her
20
early
something.
20s.
early mid-20s at that point. But yeah,
Oh no, it's great. It's great.
she was the crazy ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Chasing
it's wonderful.
him down,
Oh,
shooting
yeah.
bazookas at him
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
The sequel was, I don't
know that I saw the sequel.
Hey,
the only
Blue
reason-
Brothers 2000 or
Yeah,
something,
Blues
right?
Brothers
Yeah.
2000. It wasn't okay. Let's put it this way: it wasn't terrible, but only because it had a fantastic soundtrack and it had amazing cameos, like Blues Traveler and fucking Bonnie Raitt. I think was in there, and a bunch of
Nice.
other people. Oh, speaking of Bonnie Raitt, I saw a post yesterday. Some millennial or some Gen Z
It was the
person.
Daily Mail.
They
The
said
British
that
piece of shit rag. It's
Oh,
all
I
like,
didn't know who.
Yeah.
that some unknown blues
oh
singer
my God.
beats Beyonce and Gwen
Unknown.
Stefani, unknown blues singer
Yeah.
from. And I was like, how do you not know who Bonnie
Right.
Raitt is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and her dad, she's from a musical dynasty. Her dad was a huge Broadway star.
Dude.
And it's like, she's been around forever. It's like,
Yeah.
or if that was, I don't know if that's an actual headline or a made up headline.
It might have been made
But
up.
the
but
Daily Mail is one of those British tabloid shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's
So they might have
it's
just been
it's
talking
it's
shit.
clickbait. It really
Yeah,
is because there's no
yeah.
other. I mean, unless you recently got the job doing reviews on like music stuff, and you've never done any reviews on
Right.
musicians. There's no fucking way you didn't know who she was. It's got to be clickbait.
No, I would think so too, because she's sold a lot of records.
She's sold a lot of records, but I think she
talk
only had
about
like one. That was her like
That's good.
one top 40 hit, right?
Maybe.
And I remember it had Dennis Quaid as in the video
Oh,
of
that's
it.
nice.
Yeah, he's looking all Dennis Quaid-y
Yes, he
in a
does.
bar, and
Yeah.
she's singing to him. He's all, look at my smile. Don't you want to go to bed with
Well,
me?
that's nice.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
at
and
least
she's
she
a
got the. At least she
good
got
guitar
this,
player.
Yeah.
At least she got the right Quaid brother. You know.
Yeah.
Well, nobody puts Randy in a romantic setting.
I used to think he was just a funny actor, but it turns out he was just legitimately crazy.
I'm back.
Oh,
Or
man.
was it Daddy's Home, or what was it?
Yeah, I'm back. I think is what he says in Independence Day.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Any other questions? Any questions? You want to ask anything? Yes.
Why is the sky blue?
Mm.
Yeah, well, water vapor.
Yeah. That's the rumor, anyway.
That's the one color that shows up in the refraction of light.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we get to our bonus round, does anybody have anything new? Any shows they watched? Any share and tell that they want to do?
I actually, because I saw a clip of it on the Tickety Talks, I watched a movie on Netflix called Stutz, Stutz,
Okay.
and it is a documentary series about Jonah Hill and his therapist.
Yeah.
And he wanted to share the brilliance of his therapist to the world.
Yeah.
Well, that's something.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
It is very good. That's why it's like I had to see the whole thing, because this one clip I saw on TikTok was the thing about being in therapy is you want them to give you advice, and your friends. What you end up getting from a therapist is, hey, how you doing? What are you up to? Whatever else.
How do you feel about that?
And how do you feel about that? And then your friends are always giving you unsolicited advice about shit they had nothing about. And you want to get the
This is what you got to do.
And then you want to get the advice from your therapist, and you want your friends to just shut up and listen.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's fucking the most profound thing I've ever heard that guy say. I was like, and I mean, yeah, I think I have to go back and watch some of his movies now, just because that was one of those things that just really stuck with me.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Anything new this week that you've enjoyed?
Well, geez, I
You've
was
been
away.
traveling.
I did, I was traveling. There was and I don't own a television, but there's a TV in the hotel room, so I watched a couple episodes of South Park.
Okay.
Because that was on, and it's funny.
Newish?
I think they were older. One was where Randy had the biggest turd.
Yeah. How many Courics was that?
Yeah. Oh my God. So I laughed because it's just so dumb.
It's
funny.
It was the episode where they were making fun of Bono.
Yeah.
Because he was
I mean, pretty.
So he was at the State of the Union last night.
He was.
self-important giant turd is what is what they call him.
Yeah, no, it was there's that. And then last night after I did my bonus content, you could could watch, I guess.
Yeah, you guys gotta
sign up and enjoy.
Yeah.
Yes.
After that, I watched an episode of I think it's Kunk on Earth, and she
It's
just
on
plays
Netflix,
like
yeah.
it's on Netflix, and so she's like not she's doing a great job because she's like the anti-David Attenborough, talking to these experts on the beginning of civilization. Was last night's episode, and she's ridiculous, and it made me like belly laugh a lot because it's just so I like dumb. You know what I mean? I love dumb.
Yeah.
So, and it's dumb.
Oh, the other thing I watched, and I was talking to Mike about it before we started recording, was the show on, I think it's Peacock, I think it's on. It's Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne.
No, yeah.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
She's got this superpower of she can tell when people are lying.
Oh, nice.
Just natural ability, she it's whether it's just reading body language or whatever, she's able to tell that's a lie. That's bullshit. In fact, that's what she responds usually with, bullshit. Just like that. And every episode is like, it starts with a story about somebody else, and she comes in about 3/4 of the way through, and like the last quarter of the episode is her figuring out what happened during the beginning of the episode.
Huh.
It's
So she's Columbo, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Like the world's prettiest Columbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say Scooby-Doo without the dog, but yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Geez, that's
Say
great.
tomato, I say tomato.
I mean, it's legitimately
I
the
think
same
she's
fucking
great
thing.
though.
Yeah.
because we watched and I think there's a second season now of Russian Doll, which
I need to watch
really
that.
enjoyed that. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. Yeah, and I thought she did a good job because it's a difficult role that she's given. When her character's life is awful,
Yeah.
so it's really interesting how she deals with it. Yeah.
Right.
I thought she did a great job.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a new album in the mail.
Oh.
I think it's relatively new.
An
It's
LP?
An LP. We talked about Pearl Jam already. This one's called Under the Covers, the Songs We Didn't Write or something like that. And it's just double album of cover songs that they've done. Most of them are live. I've only listened to it through once, but I'm giving it a B. So it's good, but it's not great. The sound quality is not the best, just because it's live.
Sure.
And they probably weren't planning on recording it or releasing it or whatever. But some of the song choices are pretty cool. They do Search and Destroy by the Stooges.
Yeah.
They do Mudhoney song, but for me, I can't think of it right now. I think they do a John Lennon song. They do a Stevie Wonder song. So it's actually pretty good. It's kind of cool to hear your, musical heroes doing other people's stuff, like you were talking about Nirvana doing Bowie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty fun little album. So
How
if you get a
many
chance,
studio
look it up.
albums do they have?
What do they have? went to 12.
Oh, geez. Okay,
Something
geez.
like that.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah,
12.
All right.
the only one of theirs that I had is I think 10, which is the one that
That
had
was a big album. Oh,
Yeah, it
nice.
was huge.
the Jeremy was
Yeah.
the big single off of that, I think.
Yeah, they had a number of radio hits off of that. Yeah.
Ton of them.
Yeah. I had one of my earliest call center jobs was Ticketmaster, and I dealt with a lot of their fans.
Oh.
Yeah, who were mad at Ticketmaster.
They were
yeah.
very angry at
They
Ticketmaster.
just call up and say, hey,
Yeah.
Ticketmaster, is your refrigerator running? Well, you better go check it.
Yeah. So that kind of soured me on that band for a number of years because they were such assholes. It was like, dude, I just work here, man.
Oh,
I'm making minimum.
Sure, yeah.
I think they had a good point, though.
I think they had a point, but taking it on the low level employees is not the way to do it.
Yeah, the worker bees aren't to blame.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, this guy was like giving me a bunch of shit about the fees. Like, you want me to break down the fees for you, sir, so you know why we're charging these extra fees? Well, the convenience charges so you don't have to drive to the gorge to find out there's no tickets left. You know, what was it? The service fees, because I don't want
to giving us the corporate line.
Yeah.
Dude, the thing is, I got yelled at so much from these assholes.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Never take it out.
The service fees was because the guys who answer the phone don't work for free.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't even make that much. I was making, I think, maybe $7.50 an hour.
Oh, that's not enough to get abused by somebody over the phone.
No, it's not. And to be honest, the company wasn't really nice to work for.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
All right, so and you got that in the mail, you said?
Yes.
So who do you get your records from that they come in the mail?
I can't remember which place. That might have been an Amazon delivery. To tell you the truth.
But there's like places that sell like LPs that are like.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of record stores out there.
Discog or something like that, right?
Well, I have a store on Discogs, and you can find it on the Friends of the Show link on r-townpodcast.com. I've got plenty of stuff for sale up there. But yeah, I try to buy direct from the artist if I can, if they have a website, especially if they're a small little artist and stuff. Yeah. Want more of the money go direct to them, but it's hard to find releases and stuff. But I get notified that Joe Blow's putting out a new album, buy it, kind of a thing. And then I do get sucked into, you can get an autographed copy, or you can get, the marble vinyl or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, I saw an LP the other day. I think it was for the soundtrack to not Evil Dead. What's the one, the original one? Instead of Ash versus the Evil Dead, what was the ones that opened Sam Raimi, his first movie? Either way,
it's Evil Dead, and then it's Dead by Dawn or whatever.
I'm thinking of Army of Darkness. So it is Evil Dead.
Army of Darkness.
Okay. So it's like the soundtrack to Evil Dead, but it was like the LP was like hollow and it had blood in it. So whenever you moved the LP around, it would slosh around inside.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Somebody that's really cool on the vinyl stuff is Jack White, and I don't know if you're a fan of his music, but he's got a little record company down there in either Memphis or Nashville,
something like that.
And he does some cool stuff. Like he'll put an album inside of an album, so a working album, but you'd have to break it open to get to the other one that's on the inside. So you have to kind of make that choice on whether you want.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, just weird shit like that, right? But it's creative and it's different and it's cool.
So do you put the better music on the inside?
I guess you take the gamble. Yeah.
Well, better music.
Buy
all,
two.
Relative, right?
I mean, but I mean,
because I think he bought a machine where you just put money in and play, and it presses your record.
Yeah.
Just like back in the 40s or whatever.
The thing I'm fascinated right now, and I'd love to get my hands on some, is back in the day of the USSR, right? They wanted records, so they would sneak in a record that they could copy, but they couldn't get the materials to make the record. And I don't know the full story on this. I listened to a podcast or something where they talked about this. But they would actually go to doctors' offices and get the film from x-rays. And they would use those to cut new albums onto to copy the album, and then they could sell them. And
is that like the original flexi disc or whatever?
I don't know, but it was some weird history podcast I listened to, but it was very prevalent in behind the Iron Curtain, right? That you could find these things, and they were traded and sold, and they would wear out really quick, right? Because they're just shit material. But but I was like, oh, I want to get my hands on some early Beatles on friggin' X-ray that you can hold up to.
Yeah, it's cool. It's Cruise Tips chest X-ray. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Yeah.
All right. Anybody got any positive? We want to end this, and then we'll jump to our bonusy round.
I kind of already spoke on it, but yeah, Stutz on Netflix. Watch it. Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
You go with that?
Jeez, yeah, no, everything was okay by me.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Just
it's
be good to each other.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
The earthquake to me, that kind of hammered that home. It was like,
one of the things,
5% certain now.
Right.
One of the things that I took from watching it is like you realize that just because someone is successful as an actor or a musician or whatever doesn't mean they don't have their own set of issues, and the people that they talk to about their issues also have issues. So you see that his therapist is had gone through his own stuff, and he's also like got Parkinson's. So there's that layer of just on top of everything else. So it's a good watch. You'll probably get a little weepy though watching it. I did.
Stutz.
Stutz.
All right. And as Mike said, be good to each other out there, man.
Yeah,
life can turn on a dime.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're coming back, but for this episode, Our Town Podcast.
All right, number 8, yes.
Number 8 in the
Oh,
book.
man, unreal.
Yeah.
Ocho.
Yes, whoa.
Thanks, guys.